Ladies and gentlemen, it is finally here. Yes, we are talking about FSD v13, but not just FSD v13. v13.2 rolled out last night. As you can see from this post, Tesla has officially started rolling out FSD supervised version 13 to owners, non-employees, featuring a 5 to 6x improvement in miles between necessary human interventions versus FSD v12.5.4. Tesla's Cybercab was running FSD v13 at the Robotaxi unveiling on October 10th, and this is FSD v13.2. We've talked about this extensively here on this channel in recent days, but if FSD v13 is as good as it sounds like it is, and Wall Street starts to realize that the Robotaxi network is actually now a possibility because of this new rollout of FSD, you are likely going to see a ChatGPT moment for Tesla, where the Robotaxi goes from a concept project to a reality from Wall Street's perspective. And this software was actually trained on the Cortex AI cluster. That is Tesla's newest, batch of NVIDIA GPUs that have been training FSD v13. This could be Tesla's ChatGPT moment, and we could be just days away, as I explained in the last video. Now, surely, if you look at what happened on Friday for Tesla stock, it seems like some people were anticipating some good news coming. At least that's kind of what it looked like. Tesla was up 3.69% in regular trading on Friday and up 0.07% in after hours, but it was only a half day. Volume was low for Tesla. For the broader markets, Tesla's volume was not as low as you would expect to see during a half day, coming in at 37.16 million shares, but the S&P was pretty low, coming in at 30.1 million shares trading hands, which is actually not bad. It looks like Wednesday's trading volume was 34 million, so we were pretty close to Wednesday's trading volume. Even on a half day, the S&P went up pretty good to 603.14, up 0.62%. So there was definitely some strong momentum on Friday on that half day. We will see if that carries over into this upcoming week, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla stock moves higher, because we also have this news that BYD sold a record-breaking 504,804 passenger EVs in November, up 67%. So if you're thinking about Q4, the current quarter that we are in, at least over in China, this is a good sign that Tesla is going to have some really strong deliveries as well. We've seen Tesla's weekly insurance registration numbers out of China. Sometimes that data works with a bit of a lag, and I don't know how precisely accurate that data really is. We assume it's mostly accurate, but hey, if it's a little low and it comes in higher, that's good, right? We'll take that. BYD here looks like they did very well in November, and I would argue Tesla also did very well in November, and this is a good sign for really the entirety of Q4 for Tesla, and it wouldn't surprise me if Wall Street, buys Tesla on this news that BYD did very well in November. And again, the weekly vehicle insurance registration data is showing that Tesla's doing well, but maybe Tesla's even doing a little bit better than that data is suggesting. Elon Musk today filed a preliminary injunction to prevent OpenAI from engaging in anti-competitive behavior. The injunction also called for the prevention of any further attempts by OpenAI to convert to a for-profit company. Under a Trump administration, J.B. Strobel said he imagines the new administration could return to the original intent, tightening the link between the tax credits for consumers and the localization of the supply chain for the new battery factories being built in the US. In turn, Strobel said fewer cars would initially qualify for those incentives while the supply chain is built out. That change would seem to meet Trump's objective of slashing spending. It's faster and quicker to do. It doesn't literally take an act of Congress to change the IRA. It's a Treasury rule, said Strobel, who helped officials in Washington craft the original legislation. So basically, if you build cars in the US, if you build EVs in the US, there is talk that maybe the $7,500 tax credit will not be going away. But if you are a GM or Ford, let's say, and you're building cars in Mexico and selling them in the US, your tax credit's going away. That would really be beneficial to Tesla. Because according to a new J.D. Power study, federal tax credits have played a critical role in consumer decisions. Among premium brand EV owners, 64% say that incentives were a primary driver for their decision to purchase or lease their EV. Among mass market EV owners, 49% selected their vehicle based on tax credits and incentives. More specifically, the survey found Volkswagen, Chevrolet, and Tesla owners were the most heavily influenced by the incentives. Tax credits and incentive programs were cited as the top reason for purchase among 81% of Volkswagen buyers, 77% of Chevrolet buyers, and 72% of Tesla buyers. By contrast, only 32% of Hyundai buyers, 24% of Kia buyers, and 21% of Toyota buyers said tax credits and incentives were a primary reason for their vehicle selection. In a new email that Tesla just sent out, it says Tesla vehicles are ready for immediate delivery nearby. Drive one home before the new year, and you'll also get 3 months of free supercharging and full self-driving supervised. 0% APR financing is available for new Model 3 and Model Y vehicles through the end of the year, and leasing options start at $299 per month. And now that V13 has launched, the next goal for FSD is a launch in Europe and China in Q1 of 2025. Now, I talked about this in my price prediction video for 2025, and a lot of people, I think, have forgotten about this. Some people said FSD launching in China and Europe, that's years away. According to Tesla, their plan is for Q1 2025. So a lot of people got mad at me for saying that Q1 2025 we could launch FSD in Europe and China. Robotaxi probably later in the year. We'll see select cities, of course. But a lot of people got mad at me. That's Tesla's projection. So whether you agree with them or not, well, we'll see if their prediction comes true. And Tesla launching FSD in Europe and China is going to be huge, because China is now Tesla's most important market, at least for vehicles, that is. And if you see a decent take rate on FSD, which could be 10, 20%, could be higher, likely will be higher than the US, that's going to bring in a lot of bottom line profits, as essentially flipping on FSD for a car is like 90+% net margins. Tesla AI on X writes, "New brain, who dis?" to Holmar's catalogs. Screenshot here of FSD supervised V13 release notes. And Yun Tai on X, he is the senior staff engineer at Tesla AI, says, "Insane product push on the week of my birthday. We refactored the entire system to drastically simplify the pipeline, direct photons to control, yet providing a lot more functionality under the same Unify framework. It is probably one of the biggest rewrite in years when we began set foot on the journey of photon count 4 years ago. Thanks across the teams for getting it to the finish line, from data, vision, compiler, system, firmware, UI, QA, PM, and a lot of other teams I may have missed, working insanely hard 24/7, onward to the world of autonomous." And we have some of the initial videos starting to come out for V13. And apparently this vehicle navigates a parking lot and then backed itself into a Tesla supercharger. So far, so good. And I know it's going to take a couple of days for, Wall Street, if we're thinking about kind of a ChatGPT moment. It's going to take a couple days for Wall Street to actually catch on to what Tesla is doing and to this new software. And I'll tell you right now, the actual imaging looks pretty dang good. So let's see how this car does it. Oh, is it going for the middle one? No. Okay. Object and path detected is said. Wow. Pretty impressive. Oh, and Elon Musk on X says Tesla has the best real-world AI by far. Tesla has reduced the lease pricing for the Cybertruck in the US by up to 13%, applying to both the all-wheel drive and Cyber Beast models, with a new starting lease price of the all-wheel drive at $899 a month, a 10% decrease, and the Cyber Beast at $999 a month, that is a 13% decrease. And other details are as they were previously. Tesla has further extended its 5-year 0% interest loan incentive in China for the Model 3 and the Model Y to December 31st. Volkswagen workers will go on warning strikes on Monday at plants across Germany, marking the first large-scale walkouts at Volkswagen's domestic operations since 2018. Workers are worried about mass layoffs, pay cuts, and possible plant closures. And this is kind of what I've talked about for Tesla's FSD versus a Waymo and versus like a Cruise for that matter. The distinct difference is this. Tesla's North America X account says here, the difference between FSD supervised and other autonomy solutions is that FSD works anywhere in the US and Canada, even in places the car has never seen before. It interacts with the world just like humans do, using vision and neural nets. It doesn't rely on pre-mapped areas or expensive equipment. If you can drive somewhere, FSD supervised can too. And that is the big difference between FSD and Waymo. And yes, Waymo has had an easier rollout because of this mapping structure that they have embarked on. But Tesla's ramp of FSD to Robotaxi is going to be massive. Once the product is to a point where you can safely conduct Robotaxi rides, it could be V13, it could be some iteration of V13, or maybe V14 or 15, who knows exactly what number it's going to be. Could be this one though. Once that's ready, it's going to be ready everywhere. And it's going to be fairly easy, I imagine, to get the regulatory go-ahead in many states and cities, especially under a now Trump presidency. Now, a lot of people are confused on this as well. You will likely need to have Tesla employees monitoring these Robotaxi drives. Like, I don't envision a day where there's not monitoring remotely of any kind of Robotaxi ride for probably some time. Like even Waymo does this, where they watch the screens behind their vehicles just to make sure things go fine. And if there's a problem, the vehicles, get confused and they don't know what to do, then a human can take over that vehicle. I think it's going to be a while before we don't have those monitoring centers, if you will. So if that's something that you're really bogged down about, then you should probably reconsider your investment in Tesla, because that's going to be a thing for a while, and it doesn't matter. It just matters if the vehicles are able to do Robotaxi rides, in which it looks like we're getting to that point, and Wall Street may soon start to pick up on that, and you're going to see a price appreciation in Tesla stock unlike probably anything you've seen before. Option activity on Friday was quite robust in Tesla. You've seen 114 different trades totaling $77.03 million with a positive order value of 51%. Volume on Friday was 59.64% calls, 40.36% puts. So definitely some bullish activity. Now let's take a look at the bubble chart for this upcoming week for Tesla, and we can see the strike with the largest open interest by far is the 360 calls, with volume on Friday of 37,318 and open interest of 37,318 and volume of 22,909. So a lot of open interest there, and it looks like the calls are well outpacing any put activity. Even the 425 call for this Friday has 30,628 contracts held in open interest in people's brokerage accounts. The $400 call seeing quite a bit of activity as well on Friday. Volume 8,200, open interest of 14,000. The 350 call as well, seen volume of almost 26,000 on Friday and 13,000 for open interest. And then the 340 call had volume of 23,000 for volume and open interest of about 9,000. And you're really not seeing that much activity on the put side. Like volume between 5 and 10,000 is pretty high for some of these, even at the money, or slightly out the money puts. There's not a lot of people betting on Tesla to fall this week, and it does look like the path of least resistance is certainly higher for Tesla. Now, if we take a look at the last week of option activity, you have seen 1,784 different trades, totaling $1.42 billion with a positive order value of 67%. So those numbers also look pretty good. On Friday, you had borrowed shares of 722,000 and return shares of 717,000. That means you had about 5,000 shares on net that were sold short on Friday, which is a pretty nominal number. You do have 2.72% short interest of free float, $25.33 billion sold short in Tesla, totaling 76.09 million shares that are still sold short. And I do think, eventually you will see shorts start to cover on short positions, and that'll drive Tesla higher. But I really think it's option activity these days that is pushing Tesla higher, not shorts covering. So that is another powder keg ready to go off at any moment. Now, sentiment for Tesla today is neutral at 50. Yesterday was neutral at 51, so pretty much unchanged there. Message volume is low at 38. Yesterday was low at 39, so basically unchanged there as well. Participation ratio is high at 58 today. Now let's take a look at some Google Trends data worldwide for Tesla, and pretty stable overall trends. The Cybertruck at 49, the Model Y at 39, the Model 3 at 31, the Model S at 12, the Model X at 9. If we take a look at the United States, though, because that's the area that we really need to see some strength in Q4 to get some good deliveries, and that's exactly what we're seeing on Google Trends with, all of your models trending higher besides the Model S and the Model X. The Model Y went from 23, now at 32. The Model 3 went from 19 to 24. Now the Cybertruck went from 34 to 54, so there's a lot of activity really for all of Tesla products. You could see here comparing the breakdown by sub-region of search trend activity for Tesla. Every single state in America is now seeing more search trend activity for the Cybertruck than any other Tesla product. Even my home state of Michigan, 56% of searches are for the Cybertruck, 17% for the Model Y, the Model 3 at 15%, Model S at 7%, Model X at 5%. Even in Texas, 49% of searches are for the Cybertruck, Model Y at 19%, Model 3 at 17%, Model S at 8%, Model X at 7%. Even California, 31% searches for the Cybertruck, 29% for the Model Y, 23% for the Model 3, Model S at 8%, and the Model X at 9%. So pretty interesting. The Cybertruck's really just taking over at this point. And if we look at Tesla's global inventory numbers, the Model Y is still elevated at about 8,000. But the Model 3 has been falling a lot recently, down to 3,800. The Model X at 4,400, and the Model S at 2,900. And it's actually interesting right now because Ford has over 400,000 vehicles on dealer lots right now. There is excess inventory from basically every automaker. Tesla actually has better inventory, or lower inventory, I should say, than a lot of other, auto competition, which is interesting. And you're probably going to see more discounting on those legacy, from those legacy auto manufacturers over the next coming weeks, because they have a real problem with inventory. It does not look like Tesla is in that same precarious situation. And Tesla continues to run about 5,000 different ads with Google. Now, if we take a look at Tesla's chart, the RSI at 64.25, so definitely some room to move higher here. As of November 11th, Tesla's RSI hit 81, so you're only at 64. There's a lot of room for strength to come in for Tesla. The MACD has just went below the signal line, MACD line at 22.77, signal line at 23.77. That is because some of the downtrend that you've seen over the last week or so, from the point we hit 361, almost $362, Tesla stock fell 4%, and then it fell 0.1%, and then it fell 1.5%. So you did see the MACD go negative in that process. But if that goes positive again, that's going to be another bullish sign for Tesla. And especially if you break this trend line here, which is about 350. If you get above 350, then Tesla likely can run pretty hard from here. But I think what happens with Tesla will really depend mostly, at least this week, on the economic data and the news that we got out last night that Trump plans to put a 100% tariff on BRICS countries that are trying to not use the US dollar for global trade, specifically in regards to oil. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in the next video. That will be important for this upcoming week. So ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think about this information down below in the comment section. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.